morning, please. Good morning, European colleagues and friends, Decrolian teachers, representation of students. Good morning. I think you met him before in Dundee. Two of his classmates are I think they're in Malta doing an Erasmus at the moment. And another person might join us or not, because she's doing work placement at the moment as well. And he or she had some difficulties to join us in the weekend. We also have joining us Cristina Decroly. She's a member of the administrative staff of this college, and we welcome her to this meeting as well. Hopefully she'll be joining us as well in Germany in our closing meeting whenever we decide the final dates to have that meeting. All right. I want the first time welcome you to formally. We did it yesterday. I didn't meet you yesterday, but I met most of the rest of the group. Formally, want to welcome you to Cantabria, our region, to Santander, the capital city of this region, and to Decroly, of course. Especially I mentioned this, and I go back to this because I heard last night that some of you, it is the first time who are visiting us in this region, and I'm really proud that for your first visit you will keep in your mind for late in life, in future, that your first visit in Santander and Cantabria, it was linked to a project to Unity in Diversity, and it was the meeting in Santander where you had the opportunity. I hope we served you properly and you have a good sensation and good feeling when you go back home next Saturday, in case of our Scottish colleagues, right? This is the fourth meeting of Unity University and the second time in Santander. I must admit that Marta is doing a great job. Marta, you know, she's I hope she doesn't ask for wages, you know. Well, these days it's complicated to give lots of recognitions, you know, because recognitions are also linked to increasing wages. But anyway, thank you very much, Marta. You are doing a great job in all European projects in general, and specifically in Unity in Diversity. She's prepared a lovely, I guess, it's a fantastic agenda coordinated with, of course, with our leader, Monica, for social and cultural activities. It's even a surprise, which I was told, you curse your mouth and don't mention it, otherwise we kill you. That's what she said to me. So I won't mention it about the surprise, which this issue of surprises started, I think, in Scotland, when they started to do some surprises in Dundee. Well, these Scottish are quite popular for surprises. I remember Tom Dodd once visiting into the meeting in his Celtic clothes and dancing Celtic music. He's fantastic. Tom is they are really unique as well. I'm not going to use all time, it's in the agenda for me, but I want to mention some issues about our region vocational education and training system. As you probably know, Spain is politically divided into 17 regions, plus 2 provinces in North Africa, Ceuta and Melilla. You probably know this, anyway, it's historiation. Our regions have full competencies in education, for instance. That's what we are here about. In other issues as well, but in education we've got full competencies. We need to respect national regulations, but the concrete issues are full competencies of our government of our region. In concerning the vocational education and training, we are continuously developing, changing. Of course, that's very good. Change is really important, not to be still. And I must admit, and this is an honor to our German colleagues, not only in Cantabria, but also in the whole country. It has been, we are developing very, very, very seriously and very, very heavily format. Let's call it format, because the model keeps the same. But the format, the German and Central and North European model of dual system, you call dual system, I think, or dual model or format, we call it format, because we emphasize here that the curriculum, that the qualifications don't change. It only changes the way we deliver it. Either 20% of time in companies as the conventional way. Most of our courses are 2,000 hours training, 1,600 more or less in college, 400 hours in company, or 3 months, full time. That model is changing very quickly. And in our region, our regional Minister of Education and the General Director of Formación Profesional, to whom you will meet tomorrow, are working very hard on this issue, developing agreements with companies, developing agreements with institutions, all type of institutions, companies, and of course with colleges and teachers, and in order to develop this Central Europe, but we call it in Spain German model, because you Germans were the ones, I think probably the ones who first started many years ago this model, and it's a part of your idiosyncrasy in your vocational training system, isn't it? And it's working apparently very well. Although, to be honest, this is particularly, so only one opinion, only very recently I read in some magazine that some German people were a bit worried about having so many young people in mini jobs and in very not very steady jobs and with very little money. About 8-9 million people, which is around. But what we say in Spanish, better a bit than nothing. Yeah. Spaniards have nothing, are unemployed, are at home, doing nothing, even forgetting the little knowledge or the little the qualification they learn at school or in companies during their work placements. You know, you need, at least you are on board, even if you are on a part-time basis or on a mini job or whatever. So in that sense, I really also believe that that's a good system. And in fact, in Decroly, we are promoting, we are going through it as well. Going back, so the system is changing and adapting to new circumstances, especially adapting to the new demands of the productive sector in order to try to palliate, to reduce the enormous amount of unemployed in this country, especially young people. Here in the north, in Cantabria, our rates of unemployment are not so heavy, they are not so bad. They are bad. But in Andalusia, for instance, they are twice as bad. 52% of young people in Andalusia are unemployed. In Cantabria, 26, 28. Average number of unemployed in this country, in Spain, is 26, pushing on to 27%, it is said, by 2014. We are not going to grow the same as it is not going to grow. Our economy is not going to grow as it is not growing only with the Greece economy. Spain is the only economy going to grow next year. So it's still. But Santander is about the 16%. I mean, Santander, Cantabria, the region. So, you know, the northern areas are always better positioned than the southern areas. That happens in Italy and perhaps in other countries as well. From the educational and training point of view, we are developing what we call a very permeable, I don't know that word in English, permeable. We can move from one system to another, from the labor system to the educational system, from regimes, we call them in-house courses to distance learning courses, or distance learning, or how you call learning courses, and we are producing lots of materials for us, which is, I mean, we are starting, we are going on. And also we are developing all type of modalities. We call modalities full-time courses, part-time courses, modular courses, unit, smaller unit courses, so on, so on, so. Lots of flexibility. And we are trying to convince companies to participate actively in all this provision of training, because in the end, those students from the, what we call the initial vocational education training system, which are the youngish, the young people, but also without forgetting the training, lifelong training, you know, along lives, you know, people in companies and so on, so without forgetting that. I'm not going to progress on this. It was just an idea. I clicked, you know, I clicked to mention that we are going through. We are trying to do our best in that sense, right? Just to end this presentation for today, to welcome you, and before showing you a short video formed by pictures of old Santander and actual Santander. It's been produced by Sergio Ibanez, and it's been also includes music of a schoolmate friend of mine, 50-year-old friend of mine at school, who is he works for the Ministry of Labour, in fact, here, but he writes music. He's canto autor. He's an author, you know, for regional music and so on. So he doesn't live on music, although he's taken records and so on. So you will hear him, and that's a very beautiful for us Cantabrians, you know, a very beautiful song which is called Santander La Marinera. That's a beautiful regional song. And before just asking Sergio to present you this video, which is 3 minutes or something like that, I want to tell you honestly, especially to those who